Introducing, hosting from the Portuguese section of Massachusetts, representing those that choose the Sioux, representing for all his boys mocked because they can't see colors. The man, the king, the motherfucking pod of this pod, Matt Souza.
Hosting from the Taint of America, representing that fuck, marry, kill game, representing for all the dudes in the group chat, Central Time, representing the motherfucking Late Club, it's Gen DK.
GCDub. This is episode 2, and we are back. Maddie, how you feeling?
I'm good. Episode 2. We're back. We've been allowed back, so that's good news. So good to be here to talk GCW as always.
It's good because there's literally 100 million matches to talk about. So somebody has to break all this down. Who better than us?
Exactly. I was just going to say, who better than us to talk about all this stuff? I can't think of anybody, really.
It's not like we were suffering from any kind of eye shrinkage or any kind of serious medical condition that would inhibit us in any way.
No, that's not a thing that exists.
Nope, sure not.
No.
So I wanted to start out with thanking everybody who listened to our first episode, and we got a lot of nice comments, and we really appreciate it. Everybody who reached out and listened.
Yeah, agreed. It was awesome. We got a lot of great feedback on the first episode. So thanks to everyone who commented, sent us a message or a DM on Messenger or something. It was awesome to see all that stuff. It's nice to know that we're doing people like. So
yes, that's all we want to do.
We appreciate it.
So there's a lot to get to. So I think we should just dive in, because one of my favorite experiences in wrestling lately came from one of the February shows, the J Cup, the tournament. It was epic, 2-parter tournament from Jersey. I don't think I've ever seen anything like just sat down and watched like a day a tourney like that. With all of the caliber talent that they had, and just banger match after banger match.
Yeah, it was low. Both shows, they were both on the same day. I think the first show was at like 2:00, and then the second one was at like 8, something like that. It was just a full day loaded with just incredible wrestling. And like you said, it was completely stacked. There was so much insane talent on the show. It was kind of crazy just watching all these guys just come out and have bangers, like you said. So yeah, it was awesome to see.
And for me, I sat down and wrote notes, like from what I could, 2-second thoughts about all these matches. I'm like, I am taking notes on this tourney. Like it is real. I'm studying this. But it's a lot. It's so much, because none of the other shows from the month got any kind of notes. So,
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was one of those shows where GCW gets knocked a lot for being like the deathmatch style, but there was none of that. It was like straight. I mean, you got a little bit of brawling in the crowd and whatnot, but it was pretty much every match was like in the ring. They're just going hold for hold and they're wrestling each other. Like there was no light tubes or anything like that. So I mean, it was a great tournament.
So what kind of results did we get from that?
So from session 1, this was on February 11th. Jordan Oliver defeated Alex Shelley. Then there was a 6-way scramble where Cole Radrick defeated Dante Leone, Dylan McKay, Jack Cartwheel, Marcus Mathers, and Yoya. Blake Christian defeated Alec Price. Joey Janela defeated Starboy Charlie. Leo Rush defeated Tony Deppen. Charles Mason defeated Billy Starks. Commander defeated Arez. And in the main event of Session 1, Mike Bailey defeated Jonathan Gresham. So,
from what I recall, we did our little brackets prior to the tourney. You were pretty on point, I think.
I
with
think my
that
bracket was
first.
perfect, if I remember correctly.
I thought you had one that was off.
I might have. I can't remember. It
Yeah.
it was a month ago at this point.
You're right.
My
What was I
mind,
thinking?
my memory doesn't work like that.
If only somebody had thought to bring up the graphic of our brackets there. But I
Ah,
thought we did really well.
mhm.
Did you? I don't think anybody surprised you really. You think everybody went over that should have into the
Yeah,
next?
everybody that I thought was going to win won. The only one that I was kind of iffy on was Leo Rush and Tony Deppen.
Yeah, same.
I thought maybe Deppen would win that one, but I mean Leo. I mean it makes sense given where they were going in night 2, and I could have seen Billy Starks defeating Charles Mason, but Mason winning because he's such a sleazeball. It makes sense for the character. So yeah, I enjoyed Session 1. I thought that was a really good show. The main event of that show was great with Bailey and Gresham. I think that was the third match they had with each other, second or third, and it was really good stuff. So
I would agree. I thought of that first group. I really love a scramble match, and I loved that Ratty Daddy won that one.
mhm,
But I really liked that Tony Deppen match, and I was also surprised that he lost that. So for Session 2,
yep,
Mike Bailey defeats Commander.
mhm,
Jordan Oliver defeats Charles Mason. Joey Janela defeats Leo Rush. Blake Christian defeats Cole Radrick. Jordan Oliver defeats Joey Janela. Mike Bailey defeats Blake Christian. And then they sort of stuck in there a 4-way tag team
mhm,
match where we get the SAT.
mhm,
So that was awesome. And for the title for the J Cup, Jordan Oliver wins. He
mhm.
defeats Mike Bailey to win the J Cup. Not a real shock, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it makes sense. I feel like, and I think I mentioned this on the last episode, but I feel like JCW is kind of going to be to GCW what NXT is to WWE.
Interesting.
So it makes sense to have a guy like Jordan Oliver. He's a young kid. He's on his way up. He's making a name for himself on the indies right now. It makes sense to put the inaugural title on him. Like, I think he's a perfect fit to carry JCW for however long. So I think it makes perfect sense. I think I liked Session 2 better than Session 1.
Yeah.
Oliver and Janela was fantastic.
I fucking love that match.
It was really good. They went about a half hour, I think, and they didn't stop. And I thought it was really well done. The finals was really good too. I mean, big props to Jordan Oliver. He wrestled well over an hour on this show in like 3 or 4 different matches. So he's got more stamina than I can dream of. So yeah, good on him. Because and I think this tournament was kind of made for a guy like him. So, and I need to see the J Cup. I think it needs to become a yearly thing because I think this was so good that it's you can get away with doing it every year for sure.
I don't know how they don't, but also his performance was absolutely stunning. Like all of his matches were bangers.
Yep.
They were different, and he owned it all. Like it was his day, and he absolutely had every single beat down. It was actually incredible. And if you watch this tournament and you don't come away a Jordan Oliver fan, I don't know what the fuck else to tell you. Definitely watch that Janela match.
Yep, for sure.
Alrighty, what other shows did we have?
So after that, we had a cross-promotional show with VXS, which I think stands for Violence and Suffering or something. It's something like that. I mean, it could be that. Who knows? This was Jimmy Lloyd's All Grown Up show, which I think celebrated Jimmy Lloyd's birthday. We had the East. This was on February 17th. The East West Express of Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne defeated Arez and Commander. Cole Radrick defeated Dante Leone. In an intoxication match, Rob Shit defeated Kit Osborne of the Flying Shits, of course. In a coffin match, Cyclope defeated Matthew Justice. Jai Vidal defeated Darren Corbin. Mike Bailey defeated Miedo Extremo. Dark Sheik beat Santana Jackson. And in a barbed wire death match, Jimmy Lloyd defeated Effie. And Effie got fucked up in that match.
Yeah.
He hit the barbed wire at one point and his back was just a complete mess. Because I think, and I actually think, and I don't know this for a fact, but I kind of felt like they made the match shorter because of that. Because the match only went like 10 minutes. So like it's like, we should probably get Effie a little bit of help here because he's kind of fucked up right now.
Jesus
so
Christ.
let's stitch him up.
Who could beat you in an intoxication match?
Oh boy. That's a great Rob Shit probably. That's for sure.
Did you watch any of those? Besides
I did watch. I watched the main event, and I watched the second half, I think. And Bailey and Miedo Extremo was really good too. So I would definitely go seek that one out. Cyclope and Matthew Justice was more fun than it was good, I think. But it was, just I love the Second Gear crew, and seeing Matthew Justice do his thing out there was a ton of fun. So yeah, it was a very different show. I mean, it took place, I think it was in Vegas or something, and it was in a very small room, like a closet sized room. So it was kind of an interesting atmosphere to see. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a fun show, I'll say.
Another fun show was on February 18th. That was called Middle of the Night, where we had Tony Deppen defeats Alec Price and Cole Radrick and Eli Everfly and Jimmy Lloyd and Starboy Charlie. Nick Wayne defeats Matt Cardona. Gringo Loco and Los Vipers defeat Ares, Jack Cartwheel, and Mago, I don't know. Jordan Oliver defeats Mance Warner for the title. Charles Mason defeats Alley Catch. Los Macizos defeat the Bollywood Boys. Leo Rush defeats Commander. Blake Christian defeats Willie Mack. And then for the world title, Nick Gage defeats Mike Bailey. Oh boy. Did you watch any of those?
I did. I watched most of this show in a rather inebriated state, as you could attest to.
Right.
But I did go back and watch it when I was much less inebriated. So I'm a big Mance Warner fan, and I thought that match with Jordan Oliver was a ton of fun. So I think Mance is a guy they really could build a company around if they really wanted to. I think he's that good. So I thought that was fun. The one thing I'll say, the last two matches, very long. Blake Christian and Willie Mack was 28 minutes.
28 minutes.
And Nick Gage and Speedball was 35. I mean, that's probably a little too long for what they were doing.
How dare you?
Look, I like Nick Gage and Mike Bailey, but 35 minutes, it's a bit much. It's a bit much for me. I did enjoy the match overall, but it was very long. Nick Wayne and Matt Cardona was also really good.
I mean, just give me all of the Matt Cardona. Yes, everything. I mean, he's cutting a promo. He don't know who he's wrestling. He's so, I don't know. He's an asshole, but he's like lovable. He's funny.
It's interesting what they're doing with him too. They're having him face all these young guys, and for the most part, losing. So, like, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, or it's an interesting thing to. I honestly thought he was going back to WWE. Like, I thought for sure he was leaving because Chelsea Green is there, so I just assumed that Cardona was going to go with her. But I don't know. He's stuck around for a lot longer than I thought he was going to. So,
what would you rather see him do? I kind of want to keep him here. I kind of want to see more.
Oh no, I'd rather have him here. Like, I think he'd get lost in the shuffle in WWE.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, it's like, it sucks. Like, because we talked about it before. Like, I would just rather see people do things here than in the WWE now. Like,
oh yeah,
that's very odd.
Well, because they get the freedom to do basically whatever the hell they want in GCW. They're not micromanaged to death or anything like that. Like, if you want to do this, yeah, sure, go right ahead. You know, like Nick Gage
Maybe
and Mike.
wrestlers shouldn't have that much freedom.
I think it depends on the wrestler.
Maybe.
Like Nick Gage and Mike Bailey, you know, if that's a match that, for God help us, ever happens in WWE, it certainly wouldn't go 36 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So
I'm trying to imagine that. No. I don't think.
MDK all gosh darn day, they'd say in the WWE. So yeah, I don't think that would work. I don't think
that made my heart sad. All right. What do we have next?
So now we go to Holy Smokes, which was on March 4th this past weekend. We had another scramble as Gringo Loco defeated Alec Price, Carlos Romo, Grim Reaper, Jimmy Lloyd, and Shane Mercer. Jordan Oliver defended the JCW title against Alex Coughlin. I believe he's a New Japan guy, if I remember right. Blake Christian defeated Akira. In the GCW Extreme title match, Joey Janela defeated Vaney. I'm assuming that's how you say it. Vaney. Right. Effie defeated Slade. Los Macizos defended the tag titles against the SAT. Vikingo defeated Alex Zane. Rina Yamashita defended the Ultraviolent title against Casey Kirk. Maki Ito defeated Lufisto. And in the main event, in Drew Parker's final death match, John Wayne Murdoch defeated Drew Parker in the main event. So, did you catch any of this show?
Not this one.
No.
I don't think.
So, I'll say I like the main event a lot. I thought it was a fitting way for Drew Parker to go out. I mean, it was unspeakably violent as is expected in a John Wayne Murdoch match, and I thought it was a really good death match. I liked it better. I thought the Ultraviolent title match was good, but not as good as the death match. I felt like it was kind of sloppy at points. Same for the Vikingo Alex Zane match. I felt like both guys were, I don't want to say off, but I like the Vikingo Gringo Loco match a lot better. Like I thought that match was great. This was, it was still good, but nothing special. And yeah, I mean, the rest of the show I feel like was fairly standard stuff. Blake Christian and Akira was pretty good. It seems like they're building towards a Blake Christian Masha Slamovich match at some point, because I believe Akira and Masha Slamovich are an item. So that makes sense. So it seems to me like maybe Mania weekend or something, they could do Christian and Masha or something like that. But yeah, it was a solid show. I don't know if it was a great show. Like I think the J Cup was better, and I think Middle of the Night in February was better than this show. But still definitely a good show.
All right. So the one that I did watch was called Ransom from March 5th. That was Alec Price defeats Carlos Romo and Gabriel Sky and Gringo Loco and Jimmy Lloyd and Yoya. Mike Bailey defeats Shane Mercer. And in the tag team title match, the Motor City Fuckfaces defeat Los Macizos. Thoughts on that when I get done reading all this shit? In a death match, Masha Slamovich defeats John Wayne Murdoch. Yes. Makito Yamashita and Vaney defeat Billy Starks. I don't think I watched that one. Janai Kai and Sawyer Rack. Maybe I did. I remember Sawyer. Okay, never mind. The JCW title match was Jordan Oliver defeating Blake Christian by DQ. And the Extreme title match was Joey Janela defeating Brandon Kirk. And the four-way tag team match, the Bang Bros versus Second Gear Crew versus Wasted Youth versus Young, Dumb, and Broke, ended in a no contest. And in a steel cage match, Allie Catch defeats Charles Mason. What do you think about them tag titles?
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. Wasn't expecting the Motor City Fuckfaces, as you so eloquently put them, to win the tag title. Like it was a very weird match. Like it was like 5 or 6 minutes, and the title change I felt like kind of came out of nowhere too. I mean, the only thing I could think of is they wanted the Machine Guns to be the champions Mania weekend. for like, I don't know, publicity or something, just to have a big name there.
Hmm.
But I don't know, why would you do it at the expense of Macizo's?
I don't know.
It's kind of weird. And it was, like I said, it was a quick match. It was a filler match. It was the third match on the show. It was just super weird all around. So
It was buried in there, wasn't it?
I'm guessing that it's not going to be a long reign for the
Okay.
Machine Guns. Like, it wouldn't shock me if they lose it Mania weekend to whoever they're facing. But
Who
yeah,
do they face? You think we do a rematch, or are we moving on?
we'll have a note on that later as to
Okay.
who they are facing Mania weekend.
Right. Out of this group, I liked this show, but it's hard. After the J Cup, I don't know. I got a little bit ruined. No, but I thought this was a good show. The main event, though, for me, was where it was at.
Yeah.
And with that, let's go into some match picks.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't care about any of that stuff, Matt.
We don't?
No, we don't care about any of that stuff. The only thing we care about are these matches that we liked. What was your match pick of the month?
It's tough
I
because
know.
the cage match was super great. Like, it's just a perfect blow off to that whole feud. And I thought that was really well done. I really like the Murdoch Parker death match, but I think I got to go with Jordan Oliver and Joey Janela. I just think that match was so good. And it was a half hour, and it did not feel like a half hour with everything they were doing. All the spots were great. The false finishes were great. You get Oliver getting a big win over Janela, which was huge for him, leading to his him and beating Bailey in the finals. So it's real close, but I think I got to go with that, and then I'd probably go with the cage match second because that cage match was really well done.
You know what I loved, which is so weird because I normally am not this type of person, but with Oliver and Janela, the way that Oliver was selling his arm, because it was consistent. Like he never and I mean, honestly, I don't know if it was really hurt or not because like
Right.
it's like the way that he consistently Janela would attack it, and just limb work in general. You know,
Right.
there was so much during the whole tournament of, like you said, the legit wrestling and all the limb work, all the selling, and they just really went for it. And Janela is a madman. He's like the most wonderful person to watch. You never know what he's going to come to the ring with. You
Right.
never, and I don't know. He just everything he does works for me. I love seeing him in those big spots like that too, and winning that. Not winning that match, but just he got a good spot in that tournament, and I thought he ended up showing up really well.
Yeah, like I think, and I enjoyed Oliver and Speedball too, but like I feel like that match was good enough where it could have been the final. Like it was that good.
I was shocked that Oliver, even to this point, that was just like his third really good match of the day, or second or third, and then he comes in again to fight Speedball to win, which was one of my honorable mentions of the month. I really, really liked the title win for Oliver. You got to see He was very emotional about it. The
Mhm.
crowd was very emotional about it. And really just that whole venue just looked like such a fun place
Yeah.
to watch wrestling. Like I enjoyed everything about the J Cup. It super impressive to me.
Yep.
But for the month, I'm gonna go with the cage match.
Mhm.
Alley Catch. I thought she was incredible,
Yep.
and I already thought she was amazing. And we don't get many of these storylines, but she and Mason had pretty much an ongoing story
Mhm.
that is pretty. I don't want to say rare, but they don't typically do that. But I love that they do it with Allie,
Right.
and she's so good at it. They had a good video package during the show too. I thought the cage looked really cool. Like it was like kind of throwback old school
Yep.
king. You had to escape the cage, which I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, I'm not big on that, but I mean,
but it adds like I thought they did that well. Like I thought
right.
they really nailed that. But Charles Mason, he was impressive. He really was. Like
Mhm.
I haven't cared about him for 2 minutes, and all of a sudden he's in there and he really was just chewing up the scenery with
Yeah.
a lot of that character work and Allie just totally killing it.
Mason
Bloody
plays a shitbag very well.
so it looked so natural and
Mhm.
they have such great chemistry together. I fucking loved it. I wanted to watch it again as soon as it was over.
Mhm.
I just think that Allie is a huge star. I've said it like a billion times. I it's hard because you want success for people, but you also want them to continue doing this
Right.
thing that you love. So it's like, don't grow anymore. Like you're a huge star, but just stay right there. I don't
Right.
know. It's so weird.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, because like, if who's to say if they leave GCW, they do the same thing, you know? So I get it. I like too that it was a cage match, which is a thing you don't see
Yes.
in GCW. A lot of times it's either a barbed wire match, a death match with light tubes or something. It was something different, and I think it worked a lot here. So
I kept wondering if it was their first. Surely not. I don't think I've seen it since I started paying attention to the
if
promotion.
they have, I don't remember it.
Mm-mm. I mean, I've seen a lot of things, but a
Hmm.
cage, I don't think I have. So I, I definitely want more of
Right.
those. I want Nick Gage in one. I don't know if I'm allowed to say
Gauge in
that.
a gauge in a
Gage
cage.
in a cage. Oh
Yeah.
boy, that might be triggering. Um, so I don't know. Put Janelle in. Oh god, that would be amazing. Ratty Daddy. Oh, okay, anybody really, but
Hmm.
yes, I love cage matches. So if you haven't seen that one, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
It was on Ransom
Hmm.
from March 5th.
Yep.
Any other honorable mentions from the month?
Uh, like I said, I really liked Jordan Oliver and Mance Warner. I'm a huge Mance mark,
Mhm.
so I thought that was really good. The lucha match from that same show was Gringo Loco and Los Vipers against Arez, Jack Cartwheel, and Mago. I don't know how to say it,
Mhm.
but I thought Gringo Loco brings it all the time. His lucha matches are always fantastic, so he's just a ton of fun to watch. So yeah, I think for me those are my honorable mentions. But it was a good month. There was a lot of good stuff all over these shows. So
Also, I did want to bring up Blake Christian
hmm.
because we did talk about him specifically. I thought he showed up well in
Yep.
the tournament as well. I think I had him to win,
Ooh,
but
I don't
he did
remember.
not.
No.
Um, but I'm loving what he is doing with his continued heel work. He seems
Hmm.
to have settled into it a little bit more, like we kind of talked about.
Yep. He is quickly becoming like what next to maybe Charles Mason, the
Mm,
most hated man in GCW, and,
yeah.
and he's good at it. Like he's gotten like shittier as a
Hmm.
person, but he
Hmm.
hasn't really changed all that much. Like in ring, he's just kind of the same person, and the crowd decided to turn on him for whatever reason, and he's just owning it. He's fed into it, so he's like, "All right, you fucking hate me now. Guess what? I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing, and you're gonna hate me more."
I love watching him wrestle. Like
Hmm.
I really do. So I think he's onto something for sure.
Hmm.
And Looking forward to more from him.
Yep.
Speaking of looking forward. I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Very good. Very good.
So this is going to be a little bit overwhelming.
We got a lot here.
But everybody's going all in
Mm-hmm.
for what we got coming up. Yeah. All right, take us through what we got coming up for the rest of March.
All right, so for the rest of March, coming up on March the 11th, we have a GCW IWS Hardcore Unfucking Sanctioned, which is another co-branded show. I think I want to say they're Montreal or they're definitely Canadian. So we have I get to brush up on my French here to say this first team.
Yay!
Le Tabernacle de Team of Matthew Saint-Jacques and Thomas Dubois versus Los Macizos. I'm half French, by the way.
You're doing great.
Versus Los Macizos for the tag titles. We have the East-West Express of Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne versus Fresh Air, which is Junior Benito and Macrae Martin. We have Melanie Havoc versus Ali Catch for the IWS Women's title. We have Team GCW, which is Cole Radrick, John Wayne Murdoch, Dylan McKay, and Marcus Mathers versus Team IWS, which is JT Producer, Shane Hawk, Black Dynamite, and Carl Jepsen. Matt Falco will face Manders in a beer bash match. I don't know what that is, but I'm in. Then we have Green Phantom and Sexy Eddie versus Rina Yamashita and Mance Warner in a Fans Bring the Weapons match. So I'm sold on that.
Hot damn.
Seeing Mance in one of those matches. We have Lufisto versus Sawyer Wreck. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Gringo Loco, which is the match I'm most looking forward to. And then I believe this is going to be the main event. It is Benjamin Tull versus Tony Deppen for the IWS World title. So that is March 11th.
That is some interesting stuff. I like the new names. I don't know any of these people, but I am interested in mixing it up and seeing what they got. Fans Bring the Weapons. What weapon would you bring?
Oh, God. A dinner plate.
Come on.
That you can smash, like a glass dinner plate. You could smash over someone's head.
Try again.
Try again? That's my answer.
Crowbar or something like that.
I don't have a crowbar here.
Go get one.
Oh, I'm gonna buy money to go. So yeah.
Oh, you're gonna buy some money and go.
I'm gonna buy money. I'm gonna go buy a crowbar and then lose it at a wrestling show. I'm not getting that crowbar back.
Get hit with the crowbar?
I'm not getting that crowbar back though. That's the if I had an old crowbar around here, yeah.
Don't you have an old tool laying around you could take to the wrestling show?
Probably, but not a crowbar. A hammer?
Well, a hammer. There you go. Go full eels.
Jesus God. What about you? What would you bring?
I don't know. Now I kind of say
it's better than my glass plate answer.
A sword.
You just have a sword lying around there?
Who don't?
Me?
No, probably like what do I got? A 2x4.
Oh, that could work.
Yeah, that'd be
I
fun.
got one of those in the garage. That's not a bad idea.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go Hexall on them.
Yeah, there you go. Good God. But yeah, I think that's going to be a Speedball and Gringo Loco. Like,
Hell yeah.
if that match doesn't deliver, we're doing something wrong. So, like, that should be incredible. Just that alone, and the fans bring the weapons match. Just those two matches alone should be a ton of fun. So,
And that's in Canada, right?
I believe so. I want to say it's in Montreal.
I think that's right too.
Yeah. So we have that. And then on March 17th in New York City, we have Eye for an Eye. This show also very loaded.
Ooh, yes, sir.
We have Bandito versus Gringo Loco, Homicide versus Matt Cardona,
Oh shit.
Blake Christian versus Jack Cartwheel, Los Macizos versus Rena and Sawyer. That was supposed to be for the tag titles. Obviously, it won't be,
Ooh.
but it won't be now. We have the Time Splitters, which is Alex, Shelley, and Kushida, as they'll take on Jordan Oliver and Speedball. And the reason it's not Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne is because Nick Wayne cannot wrestle in New York because he's too young.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that's interesting too. I don't know if we mentioned Speedball had that heel turn on that last show.
No, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Are him and Jordan Oliver going to be able to coexist? That is the big question going into that. Joey Janela will face Grim Reaper, which is right up your alley, Jen.
Hell yes, that is gonna fuck.
Tony Deppen will face Willie Mack. And in the main event, Nick Gage defends the world title against Masha Slamovich. So that show is loaded.
That is a very pretty card.
And it's also interesting. So they're doing it's a full weekend of GCW. There's a match on the show on the 19th that we're going to talk about too. But it's a Friday and a Sunday. There's no Saturday show. So that's kind of interesting. I'm assuming it's for travel purposes because on the 19th, they're going to Canada. So I would imagine it has to do with some customs border bullshit or something. But yeah, super loaded card, which is crazy because you still have Mania weekend, which we haven't got to. And that's the type of show you're getting 2 weeks beforehand. So.
That is crazy. For the Worst Behavior show on the 19th, I've only got 2 matches announced for that one.
Yep.
That's Mike Bailey versus Masha and Yamashita versus Lufisto.
That is the Toronto show. That it kind of seems like it's going to be a B show.
Does
which after that loaded New York City show, I guess makes sense, but I don't know. We'll see.
Nobody's going to be alive. Everybody's going to die.
Right. Or they'll, get stuck at Border Patrol or something. But yeah, I mean, I Bailey and Slamovich could be really good. And hell, it could be a title match depending on what happens in New York City. So
that's true.
Yeah. But yes, loaded weekend coming up in March.
So, and then this is technically March 30th. Is that the beginning of the weekend for them?
Yes, the beginning of The Collective, which is a lot.
Shit.
Uh-huh.
All right. Do we want to read all these? I mean, I guess we probably should.
I mean...
let's just pick out some.
Yeah, because I mean, we
want to highlight.
Look, here's the thing. There's a show here called Santino Brothers Wrestling. I don't know who any of those people are, except for Willie Mack. So Willie Mack's wrestling on that show. The show is happening at 11 a.m. on a Thursday. I'm probably not going to be able to watch it until much later on, so I'm sure it'll be at the very least fun, but we're not a Santino Brothers wrestling podcast.
We're not. We can just take it kind of show by show and see if there's anything we're interested in. So for Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 9, I see Ibushi versus Bailey.
Yep.
Any interest in that one?
Oh yeah. That I think Speedball is going to have a massive Mania weekend, and I think this match is one of the reasons why. Like I mentioned it on the last show, I love the blood sport shows. I think they're a ton of fun. They're very MMA style. Like they take down the ring ropes, and it's very submission based, and you can only win by knockout, submission, or ref stoppage. So it's a very different show than what you're used to from GCW, but I love watching it every year.
What else you like from that card? Anything?
I think Davy Boy Smith Jr. is wrestling.
Hmm.
He's wrestling Jr. Kratos. That could be a very interesting match. Kratos is a very large man. He's like 350 pounds of like muscle. He's a fucking monster. Moxley versus Davey Richards could be something. That could be.
Hmm.
I wouldn't shock me if that was a bloodbath. And the man that the show is named after, Josh Barnett, is facing Timothy Thatcher. So that could be a ton of fun.
And there's a guy named Bloodsport.
Yes,
well.
that is. You see, that's Johnny Nitro,
Mhm.
John Morrison,
Mhm.
Johnny. He changes his name a lot. So
Apparently.
anytime he does the Bloodsport show, he's Johnny Bloodsport.
Oh, interesting.
So yes, it's kind of one of his gimmicks that he does. He's been Johnny Nitro, John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Come Lately. I don't. He changes his fucking name like I change underwear. So. How dare you? I saw that look.
What about anything from the DDT Pro show?
Eddie Kingston's on this show. I like Eddie
Mhm.
Kingston a whole lot, and he's
Me
teaming
too.
with Akiyama, who's kind of a Japanese legend. And I want to say he's part of the booking crew with DDT. Someone will correct me if I got that wrong, but
Mhm.
I think that could be a ton of fun seeing those two team up. Janela's wrestling on this show. He's wrestling Tetsuya Endo, so that should be interesting. And there's also a blow up doll wrestling on this show.
I'm sorry, what?
So a blow up. DDT. They're kind of like a comedy based promotion. Some of their stuff relies heavily on comedy. And one of the wrestlers,
Like
Yoshihiko.
us.
Yes, I'm a comedy based person. I've always said that.
A comedy-based blow-up doll, yes.
How dare you? One of the wrestlers on here, Yoshihiko, I think is how you say it, is a literal blow up doll.
Fantastic. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, very, very. And this literal blow up doll, which we'll get to later on, is wrestling on the DDT versus GCW show in a match that I am very interested in. So we'll cross that bridge. Not for those reasons, for God's sake.
Sure. Whatever you say, Maddie.
For God's sake.
What about from For the Culture? I see some interesting names on this.
I was going to say, your boy, Too Cold
My
Scorpio.
boy, Too Cold.
Yeah.
Looking too old. Love you.
My
Love you too.
God, he's the best.
All due respect.
Now I've never seen Brian Keith wrestle, but from what I gather, he's very good from like reading stuff on Twitter. So that could
Brian
be
Keith is a terrible name.
It is a bad name, I'll give you that. But it could be that could be an interesting match. Leo Rush also wrestling on this show. Willie Mack wrestling on this show. So yeah, I believe that is it for that is only day one of the collective. We're going to be watching a lot of wrestling, Jenny.
Somebody is. I don't know about we.
There's a lot here.
Plus, we got to watch Damn Mania, and it's like 80,000 hours.
I mean, we don't have to.
I mean, we do.
We don't have to podcast about it, though.
Well, I probably will. Knowing me. So on March 31st, we got Jimmy Lloyd's D-Generation F.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming Jimmy Lloyd is booking this show. Like,
it does look like that.
That's my guess. Like, Alec Price versus Starboy Charlie. You have Cole Radrick is on this show. Sandra Moon. So I don't know what it is, to be perfect. That's my guess, is that Jimmy Lloyd is somehow booking this show. And I mean, I'm assuming Jimmy Lloyd's going to be wrestling somewhere on this card as we're recording this. They haven't announced anything yet, but I mean, it could be interesting. I think this is another show that's taking place at like 11 in the morning local time. So I don't know. All these shows, I feel like at the very least are going to be interesting to watch. Like, I don't think you're going to get anything bad on these shows, on any of these shows. So.
On any of these shows, there will be nothing bad.
Well, let me rephrase. Like, none of these, I said it wrong. None of these shows overall will be bad.
Okay.
At the very least, they'll be entertaining.
Okay.
It's probably a better way to say that.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, on the same day, DDT versus GCW.
Right. And this is where the aforementioned blow-up doll is wrestling Cole Radrick.
Now look.
Go on.
I love this matchup, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I often think about Ratty Daddy.
That I hope, like, I want it to be a death match.
Yes!
And Radrick
But
just beats the shit out of the blow-up doll, and the thing just deflates and
with a
flies
light
around the
tube?
room. Yeah, it just punctures it, and that's the end. Yoshihiko has to retire because he's a blow-up doll, and now,
Well, I mean, I would assume it would be a very sexual match. Like,
that's my guess. I mean, I've never seen a blow-up doll wrestle, so I don't know.
oh, another style.
So many jokes.
I'm trying to decide on one.
But
Blow-based offense.
Blow-based offense. There you go. Suck-based offense.
Mm.
You got Janelle is wrestling on this show too. You got Tony Deppen and Homicide teaming up, which should be a ton of fun.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. So I'm kind of really looking forward to this show. This should be a good one. But the next show we're going to talk about is very interesting in a very different way.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're recording this, Joey Janela's Spring Break 7 is happening on this day. I think this is the Friday. And so far, there's only 2 matches announced for this show, which is kind of weird because we're 3 weeks out from Mania. So as of right now, all we have is Vikingo and Mike Bailey, and then Motor City Fuckfaces, I believe you call them, defending the tag titles against the East-West Express. So I think do a title change here with that. What do you think?
I like that. And maybe Spring Break is one of their bigger shows. I would think that there's going to be some pretty big matchups on there. Maybe they just need a break. I don't know. Because everybody's going to be very exhausted at this point.
Right. Like, I don't know if you're familiar. They do this clusterfuck match at the spring breaks every now and then. It's like a massive battle royal. It's just chaos and nonsense, and it usually eats up like half the show when they do it. So I wonder if they just throw one of those on here to just bring everybody in and do one of those, and then you have like 1 or 2 more matches added to it, and then we go home, like type of thing. It's just super weird. It's just super weird to me that we only have 2 matches announced for this so far. And what's supposed to be like the premiere show of the weekend.
I would agree. What about Emo Fight? There's no.
It's a show that's happening. I couldn't find any matches. They had some talent announced for it. Like I think Leo Rush is on it. Kevin Blackwood, I think, is on it. Jimmy Lloyd. But as of right now, I haven't seen any matches announced for it. I don't even know if it is a wrestling show, but I put it there. I mean, it has the word fight in it, so I'm going to assume. But
and emo.
Yeah, it's a very emotional fight apparently, but we don't
My
have any
kind.
we don't have any matches announced for it, so we can't talk about anything there.
Well, shit. To be determined then on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on April 1st, we got Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Yep.
Not a lot there yet either.
No,
and that's the bigger show.
Yeah, you have, I think it's 4 matches announced so far. Sawyer Wreck wrestling on it. It feels like she's on every show. And then there's a big 10-person tag, East versus West. And I think it's literally East versus West because I recognize some of the names on the East Coast as guys who wrestle around here that I've seen at indie shows. So that's kind of cool to see them traveling over there. But yeah, Carlos Romo, I think, has done some GCW stuff. So I think April 1st is the first day of Mania, right?
I think that's right.
So is this going head to head with Mania? That's probably a bad idea.
Doubtful.
I'd have to look at the time, but if they were smart, they would have that like right before. But then
that's what I would hope for.
And then you have another show too on April 1st. So and honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to this show a lot. I think this show is going to be a ton of fun.
Who's on that one?
This is Gringo Loco's Lucha show, where it's all Lucha Libre guys, and the main event will be Gringo Loco versus Psycho Clown.
Yes,
and it is a rematch. They wrestled each other last year in I want to say it was like February of last year.
I remember that.
And they beat the tar out of each other. It was awesome. It's one of my favorite matches from them. Los Macizos is wrestling on this show against Halloween, and Damien 666, who are
Nice.
yeah, so that should be fun. Vikingo is wrestling Laredo Kid. You have Lucha Libre legend Negro Casas on this show. He's wrestling Tony Deppen. I believe Casas is in his 60s, so that could be something.
Okay.
Yeah, but last year's Lucha show was a ton of fun that they did Mania weekend. So, and I think this one on paper looks to be better than that one. So, I'm looking forward to watching that show.
I think you're right about Speedball having a big weekend.
Yeah.
Do you have any other predictions for?
So if I had a guess, I'm assuming Gage is going to be wrestling on the spring break show.
I hope so.
I would imagine. I wonder if they do Gage and Blake Christian there.
Ooh, that would be great.
As your main, assuming Gage beats Slamovich.
Right.
In New York. But even if they do, like, even if Masha beats Gage on the 17th, which I don't think it's a huge possibility, but I think there's a chance that happens, then they could maybe do Masha and Christian for the title at spring break. I feel like Christian is going to be doing something big at the spring break show.
I would agree. I was going to say there seems to be a lack of Blake Christian on here.
He's on the DDT versus GCW show. And I think that's kind of it for him right now, which is weird. So I feel like he's going to be doing more than that. So I'm assuming he's going to be I'm assuming he's going to have a big match at spring break. And also Kota Ibushi is supposed to wrestle at the spring break show. My guess is he's going to wrestle Janela. That's what I'm assuming, because Janela usually gets a big match at his show because it's his show. So I think him and Ibushi would make sense.
Ali and Effie, something.
I think
Big Gay Brunch.
I'm assuming, Effie, I would imagine, is going to wrestle on that show. It's another case where it's his show. They're also on the DDT versus GCW show as Bussy. They're in a tag match. And again, it feels like that's kind of it for them right now, too. So it's interesting. It's like they're doing these shows with the DDT guys, right? Which I get. It's you want to work with other promotions, but are you doing it at the expense of some of the other GCW guys?
But I always get worried about them too, like just burning out or getting hurt because they work so much and they travel a lot.
Right.
So, but then, if it's Mania weekend, that's a huge spot. So you kind of don't want to see them not miss that,
Right. It's like you have to pick what you want to do. Do you want to be a speedball and take all the bookings everywhere? Like he's wrestling, I think he's doing one of the Impact shows. He's wrestling Will Ospreay on one of the Impact shows, Mania weekend. So it's like, do you want to be a speedball and take any and all the bookings? Or do you want to pick and choose your spots, but in those spots, just go fucking balls out? So it's like, which one would you prefer to do?
Yeah, I right now it just feels like there's so many to follow that nobody's really getting burned out, or not burned out, but overexposed, or it's just I want to see more. Like I'm in that give me more stage for most of these wrestlers.
Yeah, I would agree. And I mean, most of like I said earlier, the spring break show, even though they've only announced 2 matches, that show's going to deliver. That's a show that's always a ton of fun to watch. So, I mean, Vikingo and Mike Bailey is going to fuck. There's no way it doesn't. So, like, just that alone is going to make that show worth watching. I'm assuming Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver are going to win the tag titles. I mean, that would make sense to me. So,
it's about time.
I think it's one of their biggest shows of the year. So I think they usually have something big on that show. So I think it's time for Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver to win the tag titles for sure.
Hear, hear. Well said. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about before we get out of here?
I believe that is it. But the only other thing I'll say, and I think I mentioned this on the last episode, is that all these shows are a part of Fight Plus. So I do believe they up the price of Fight Plus. If you're a new subscriber, I want to say it's like $7 now, but still,
Oh yeah.
Like I think they grandfathered us in because we subscribed
Mm-hmm.
before all this stuff happened. But even still, like at $7, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shows over the course of 3 days. Never mind all the other shit they have on there. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
It's a no-brainer for
Like
sure.
crazy to the point where I wonder if next year they charge more for it.
Like, there's no way we're getting this deal for like
We're
much
doing
more.
what? So.
Oh man. What about other podcasts you got going on?
Oh, all kinds of stuff. You can find the both of us here on the Extreme Three-Way Dance. We're covering ECW, getting ready to start 1998, so that should be a ton of fun to cover. You can find me also on 7 Months of Danger on this very feed, where we're going through the Dangerous Alliance era of WCW. That show's a ton of fun to do. Over on the Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed, you can find me on Highway to the Impact Zone, where we live watch TNA and usually shit on it because most of it's terrible. And speaking of shitting on things, this is a show where a lot of shitting on things happens. YouTube Roulette, where we watch random matches off of the YouTube machine. It's basically Mystery Science Theater, but with wrestling, and it's a ton of fun to do. So check all that out. You can find me on Twitter at msusan1991.
Well said, Maddie. And I've really been enjoying the 7 Months of Danger podcast that you guys are doing. The best part's the end, and I said that with love.
I know exactly what you mean.
I know you do.
It's great.
It is great. On Wednesdays, right here on the North-South Connection, you can find my shows. They include, you heard about Pluto. We've had some good episodes of those recently. A new podcast called Talkin' Docs, where me and Cowboy and Logan Crosland, we are reviewing documentaries. We just recorded our first episode, so that should be available very soon for your ear holes, and I hope y'all like it because it was very fun. And of course, on the Extreme Three-Way Dance, like Matt said, on the Place to Be Wrestling podcast feed, you can find me on PTB NXT and on Talkin' WCW. Both of those had recent episodes. And then back home on North South, I've been guesting over on No Holds Barred, doing some drafting and stuff. Those have been fun episodes, so check all those out. Follow us on YouTube for sure. And then on the new website, it's called northsouthconnection.com. We also have TikTok and the Twitter and the Instagram. So we're trying to do all the socials. So help us out there. Also follow this podcast, GCDub, on Twitter. I did kind of abandon it a little bit after the J Cup because I just went nuts during the J Cup, and then but anyway, I won't abandon it forever, and also you can use it too, Matt.
I will. Yeah,
we will probably use it a lot.
Yeah, you're going to be sick of us Mania weekend. I'll say that.
Yeah, you probably will be. But anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time. It is MDK. All
fucking day.
There you go.
I remembered this time.
You sure did. I'm proud of you.